I know I say none of these things are going to change your life, but it does kind of seem like they just copied this one. But I just don't love this as much as general online hype would lead you to believe that one would love it. And I can't really see many downsides. Such a cult beauty product. Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. Today I am ranking all my beauty kind of like tech or beauty gadgets on one of those little tier scales that everyone does on YouTube. I've never done one. I feel like I've never really had a reason to, but I've been getting a lot of questions about different beauty tech bits which people are very interested in, so I thought today would be a great opportunity to rank them all and tell you my thoughts about each one. 10 items. I think these are probably the ones that I either get the most questions about, or I have the most to say, or are like the most interesting, or I don't know. I picked 10. I probably have a couple of other little tech bits, but maybe I haven't used them enough, or I really don't have anything to say about them. The bulk of them are hair care or skincare, because I feel like that's kind of what most people think of when they think of beauty tech, but I've got like a couple of other bits. One thing I definitely want to point out is that all these items are really very expensive. The cheapest item is £75, but most of these are well in excess of £100. I really want to highlight that none of these items are going to change your life or make your life that much better. So if you can't afford them, like, don't feel too bad. These are really quite expensive items. All of these have been in one way or another sent to me. Sometimes they were just in a goodie bag, even if it's from a different brand, which kind of puts them all on a level playing field. But equally, I haven't spent my own personal money on these items, but I really am mindful of costs of stuff and whether I would personally spend that money on it. So price is definitely something we'll talk about as we go. Beauty gadgets in particular, more than like lipsticks or foundations or anything like that, are always on offer. Black Friday, just general sales, like Prime days, all those sort of offers always have beauty offers. So if there is something that you kind of spot and really want, I would highly recommend it. We're just waiting for an offer. I have got my laptop because we are ranking these items. I have 5 different categories. Top one is Holy Grail, items that I just really genuinely love. Down from that we've got A+, still excellent products, but I don't know, I just don't quite want to put them up in that Holy Grail. Then we've got Pretty Good. It speaks for itself, pretty good. Then we've got Meh, kind of average, not terrible, but just meh. And then we've got Terrible. I doubt I'll be putting anything in Terrible, but let's see how we get on. If I've kept the product, I probably don't hate it that much. Let's start with, let's do hair care, because I have got a few hair care bits to talk about. And let's start with GHD, because I have a few products. The first item I'll start with is the GHD hair straightener. This, I think, is such a cult beauty product, and I think it's for a good reason, to be completely honest. This hair straightener, or one very similar, retails for £129. Mine has pink plates, but I think that was just a limited edition a long time ago. I've had mine for a really very long time, and I really love having it. I don't know if I really think it's that much better than a cheaper hair straightener. I think nowadays with almost any hair straightener you're going to get a very similar finish. The one thing I will say is that these seem to last that little bit longer than some hair straighteners, and it feels nice to use, and it's a sturdy product. So definitely one that I love having. I don't use it enough to really need it. If this disappeared, for me personally, I wouldn't repurchase it, but that is simply because I don't use it enough. This is my hair, just like blow dried. It's pretty straight. I just don't really need it. It's helpful to have if occasionally I want to like really straighten it, or occasionally I have a curl that I've put in that needs to kind of be worked a little bit. I have a lot of control with these because they're nice and thin. I think these are a great product. I can totally see why they have become such a cult classic. I don't use them enough to miss them if I didn't have them, but still I think they're great, which is why I'm going to start by placing this in the middle at Pretty Good. I would definitely recommend them if you're looking for a hair straightener. If you can't afford them though, I think you can definitely get another hair straightener that's almost just as good, if not as good, for a cheaper price. It's just that I think GHD really know what they're doing, and they're a brand I really trust for hair straighteners. So we're going in first at Pretty Good. And then on from that, let's do hair tongs. I'm going to group these two together, but I have got 2 separate ones. So I have the GHD hair tong. I'm not 100% sure what this one is called, but I will link it down below. And then also the GHD hair wand. At the moment I use the wand much more than I use the hair tong, but I definitely alternate between the two. These are a little bit more expensive than the hair straightener, which I feel like is a slight shame, because 130 I feel like is expensive, but it doesn't feel quite as expensive as these, because these are 149, so essentially 150. I've had these for many years. I want to say I've had these for 4 years. That is a guess, but I think that's a good guess, maybe even more. I use these loads. I use one or the other probably twice a week, which I do think is quite a lot. I love them. I really think they're great. I think if I lost both of them, I probably would replace one of them. I'm not sure which one I would replace it with, but I probably would replace them. Again, I would wait for an offer to come about, but I would probably buy one. That's not to say that I don't think there are other excellent hair tongs and hair curlers out there. There definitely are. With GHD, I just know what I'm getting. It's a nice sturdy clip. They turn off if I happen to forget to turn them off. They heat up really quickly. I just think they're great, to be honest, and I can't really see many downsides other than them being a little bit more expensive. That said, they don't have a heat control either, but personally that's not something I necessarily really miss, but I know a lot of people do, so I think that this one's going to go in A+. It's not quite holy grail, because I do think that there are other products that do a very similar job for slightly cheaper. This one does still do a chef's kiss job. On from GHD, I have two Shark products to talk about, and if you saw my most recent video you might kind of know where I'm going to go with this. But I have the Shark blow dryer and the Shark Flex Style. We'll start with the Flex Style because I've spoken about this quite a lot recently. I've spoken about the fact that I just don't love this as much as general online hype would lead you to believe that one would love it. But this product here is £270 and it does loads of different things. But in my opinion, it doesn't do any of those things enough to warrant the £270. It dries my hair, but I don't think it's the best blow dryer. It could curl my hair, but I don't think it's the best curler. I can dry it with a brush, for example, but I feel like I get a better finish with a blow dryer and a brush. So for me, this just is a bit of an average product. It's not terrible. I know some people swear by it, but for me, my lifestyle and I guess like my experience level with like doing my hair, I just don't think this is worth the money. And that's why I think on my little scale, it's gonna be my first meh product. It's fine. I have it. I don't hate it so much that I'd get rid of it. I enjoy it enough to use it occasionally, but I personally wouldn't be comfortable recommending my friends go out and rush out and buy it. It's just average. But then my other Shark product I have to talk about is the Shark blow dryer. This is expensive. This is about £152. I think it's the cheapest I saw online today. I think cheap blow dryers work fine. The experience of using a slightly more expensive hairdryer I think is just better. I used to use a GHD blow dryer. I really liked that, but more recently I have been using this blow dryer. I like how like sturdy it is. It's not like too big, but it doesn't weigh too much, but it's still got a bit of weight to it. The plastic on it feels really lovely. It doesn't feel like if I drop it, it will suddenly break. And I feel like it dries my hair really quickly. So although it's definitely expensive for a blow dryer, I think it is an excellent blow dryer, which is probably why I'm gonna rate this as pretty good. I can't give it an A star because at the end of the day, it's just a blow dryer and it is expensive, but it dries my hair a little bit quicker. I really feel like I've got control of this blow dryer. I think it's an excellent blow dryer essentially, but it's just the blow dryer. I also feel like it's a bit controversial to be putting the Flex Style in the meh and then just a plain blow dryer in the pretty good, but that's because there's £120 between this. Yes, you can kind of curl with this, which you can't do with this, but I don't think the curls you get with this are that good. You can dry with this, but I think the blow dryer gives you a much better blow dry. You can use a round brush with this, but I think like just using a regular round brush and this blow dryer gives you a much nicer finish. In my opinion, the IQ hairdryer should just be in the higher tier. Now let's move on to skincare, and let's move on to the one item which really kind of sparked this video, and that is the Current Body LED light. It's essentially a mask with a little velcro, a little power pack, which you strap to your face and you turn it on and it's got like red light. Now if anyone is interested, I'm happy to do a full video about just this product because I really do think it's something I get so many questions on, and honestly I am typically a little bit reluctant to tell people that this is a great product. I think it is expensive. It's £300, which is a lot of money in my books. It's one of the products here that I use the most. I really enjoy using this. Initially I thought it was a bit time consuming, but it's quickly become part of my routine. I use this, I'm gonna say, probably 3 times a week. I'm not saying there aren't weeks where I use this every single day, but equally there are weeks where I just forget to use it. But if I keep this next to my sofa or next to my bed, I will pretty much use it every other day, I would say, because I can quite easily watch TV whilst wearing this, and I can just make it part of my regular routine. I really like this because sometimes I feel like my skin is a bit dull, and I will reach for this a few days in a row, and I feel like it really brings the glow back to my skin. I find that it reduces redness and kind of evens out my skin colour, my skin pigmentation really quite well, and therefore it's a product I really do like using. And because it is £300 and I think it is very expensive, I'm not going to put it in Holy Grail, I'm going to put it in A+, because if it suddenly stopped working, I would struggle to spend £300 on it, just because I think it's so much money. But that said, I think it's an excellent product. I do know that Beauty Pie have launched their own version of it, which I think is quite difficult to get hold of at the moment, but I'd be very interested in trying that and comparing that to this, because it does kind of seem like they just copied this one and it's much cheaper. But for this one in particular, I'm going to give it an A-star. A product I haven't heard a lot of people talk about, but which I also reach for a lot if my skin is looking a little bit lackluster, is the Trophy Skin Ultra Derm MD. Now I've had this for a little while. I'm not sure if they still do this one, but they definitely do other products which are very similar, if they don't do this exact one. It was also quite difficult to find an exact price for this. I'm going to say it's about £200. I've seen the colours vary, and then the prices vary wildly as well, from about 115 to 400, but I don't know if they're all exactly the same or there's a kind of variation to them, but I'm going to say this is about £200, I think. And they call this a 3-in-1 system for microdermabrasion, pore extraction and kinetic toning, and apparently it's safe for all skin types including sensitive skin. I have definitely used this in a video not that long ago, so you may have seen me talk about it there. It looks like this, and it has this little, I don't know what to call this, tube. Inside you have a mirror, little compartments which have different heads, and a cleaning brush, and then in here it comes with the filters and then the charger as well. And then I'm going to turn this on and show you. I typically always use mine on auto. It's a bit noisy though, isn't it? Talks you through how to use this, and then it also sets the pressure to what it believes to be the right pressure. I only ever use it on auto just because I feel like it's too risky for me to use it on the other settings, and to be honest, auto works for me. I only really use this for the microdermabrasion, to be completely honest. I really enjoy using it. When I first got it, I was a little bit nervous because my cousin has like one of the cheaper ones, and when they first used it, they got like bruises on their face. That absolutely hasn't happened to me. I do find that my skin goes a little bit red, but it's nothing too crazy, and I use this probably not that often, to be completely honest, maybe a couple of times a month. But if my skin is feeling particularly dull, I will use this and then follow it with the LED mask, and I really find that my skin looks so much better after. It really helps like remove any dead skin cells and add a glow into my skin. So it is expensive, but I do really enjoy using it. So I am going to go with pretty good for this one, I think. Do I want to go A-star? A+? Honestly, I actually am going to go A+. I have been using this for a really long time. I really like it, and I think again, if it broke and I could get it for under £200, I really would consider getting it, because I really do enjoy using it. And then the final skincare item I have is the PMD Wave Pro, which is way more expensive than I thought it was. For some reason I thought it was like £70, but it's actually 119, so pretty much 120. And it says it extracts, infuses and lifts, but to be honest, I only really use it for infusing and lifting. I think the settings are extract, infuse and lift. Like I said, typically only use the last two, but I actually do use this a fair amount. Again, if my skin is looking not necessarily dull, but just a bit, if I just want to add a bit of a lift to my face, I will give this a go, essentially. I do find it adds a very temporary lift to my face. It's a good product to use if you want to infuse skincare into your face, and I do use this for that occasionally. Honestly, this isn't the product I use the most, but more recently I have been using it, and I do enjoy using it. I don't know though if the reason it works for me is just because I'm spending a bit of time on my face, because it's quite easy to just sit watching TV and use this to help lift your face or infuse your product. But I don't know if I just kind of done a bit of a facial massage, if I would get a very similar result. And I think the answer is maybe. And because it's a little bit expensive, but equally I do enjoy using it, but I think I could maybe get a similar outcome by just using my hands. I think I'm going to put this in pretty good. I don't think it's like wowed me enough to put it above that, but I do like it. It's also really easy to travel with because it's so thin. I wouldn't rush out to buy another one if it broke. I don't think it makes enough of a difference to warrant that. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't consider it if it were like on offer, but I don't know if I like love it. Who knows, like my opinion on all of these could change if I used it more, or even my skincare concerns change. But those are my main skincare tech bits, and the next three are more miscellaneous. We're going to start with probably the tech item I think I've had the longest, or definitely one of the longest, and that is the Philips Lumia Prestige. As I said, I've had this one for a while, so I actually thought that maybe this one wasn't still being made, but after doing a little bit of research, I'm pretty sure the one that they sell in Boots is identical to this one still, pretty much. If I could kind of magic up a genie and ask for any of these products to work, I would probably pick this, because although I have very fine head on my hair, I am so hairy. Maybe 10 years ago I had my underarms lasered. I know I say none of these things are going to change your life, but I would say like getting my full body lasered would probably kind of change my life, to be completely honest. I know that sounds dramatic. I'm very tempted to do it. I feel like actually like now I'm in my 30s, it doesn't bother me quite as much. I've just kind of got used to it. But in my 20s, I hated how hairy I was, but now I'm kind of like, yeah, who cares? There's worse problems to have. But back onto the Philips Lumia, it's expensive. Of course it is. It's £350, which is actually much cheaper than they used to be. Maybe not the Philips one, but some of them used to range up to like £800, £900. I have used this, I would say. I've really given this a good go, and I still use it every now and then. It comes with different heads, so it comes with a face head, body one, and then also a bikini one. I use it on my face every now and then, and I have definitely used it on my body. I would say that maybe on my body I haven't like really committed to it. On my face I have, but actually I've been into places and asked if I could get my face lasered professionally, and I've been told that the hair on my face is too fair to do that. I would say that this hasn't really worked. It's very hard to really say whether this has or hasn't worked, because I probably can't remember when I started using this. I want to say I've been using this for at least 6 years. That's quite a long time, so I can't really remember what my face was like then. I also can't comment on whether my hair would have just changed naturally as I got older. There's just so many variables with this one that I just don't know how I feel about it. I really wish it worked. It has surprisingly a lot of good reviews, so I'm definitely not saying don't use this, despite it having not really worked for me. I definitely can't put it in terrible, because I think that's like too strong. I'm not going to put it in Holy Grail because it hasn't made enough of a change. Same with A+. I also can't put it in Pretty Good because, again, I don't feel like it's made enough of a change. But I am going to put it in Meh. I do still use this on my face, so maybe I do think this is making a little bit of a difference. I would be happy to say that it's made a little bit of a difference, but nothing significant. I haven't really used this somewhere where I have a lot of dark hair, like anywhere else but my face, so I haven't really used this on my bikini line or on my legs or on my arms. Maybe I will, just to kind of like give it a good go. But I think I have in the past. But the thing is, I just feel like lasering your legs at home is such a chore, because legs are long and like my legs aren't particularly thin. There's a lot of surface area, so I just feel like it's such a chore. But for now, I think Meh is the right place for this. Let me know if you've tried at-home laser removal kits, and let me know your thoughts. Okay, on to the penultimate item. I'm keeping this one vague, and this is at-home UV nail kits, and I'm keeping it vague because I have a few, and I don't really have a huge preference on as to which one I use. I feel like I haven't used one enough to kind of be able to comment too much on them, but I have the Manicurist Green Light one, which is probably the one I have used the most. The Mighty Mani one. I have this random one which is called All Seasons Professional Gel Polish LED lamp, and I actually have more. I have the red carpet one, which actually I used quite a lot during lockdown. I do know some people say that it's not very good to do your own gel nails at home. I can't help but feel like the people saying this are manicurists who don't want to kind of be out of a job, and I totally get that. Actually, I quite like these kits. I don't use them very often. My nails at the moment are done at a salon, and there's definitely pros and cons to both. That said, I really like having a kit at home because sometimes my nails are looking a bit crap and I just don't have the time to get them done. I can just quickly do them at home and they will last longer than just painting my nails with regular polish. I also think that these kits are quite affordable, and if you are on a budget, learning to do your own nails is a great skill to have. For example, the manicurist set at the moment, I think you can get one for £75, and that comes with some colours, which is insane if you consider most gel manicures really cost about £40, I would say, and I don't even think that's an expensive manicure. For me, the negatives are also huge. I do not like doing my own cuticles, and I hate shaping my own nails. I don't really love removing my gel polish. I equally love the convenience of being able to do my nails at home by myself. You have to have some level of skill to do your own nails, I think. Luckily, that's a skill I've really practiced in my teens, so I think I'm okay at doing my nails, but I know a lot of people aren't. I really feel like there are so many pros and so many cons for this item. I can't see this going anywhere else but pretty good. I like it, I really do. I use it a fair amount. It doesn't take away from how great it is to get a professional manicure with someone who really knows what they're doing. Finish is just much better, of course, in salon. At least when I'm like shaping and doing my own cuticles, they're not as anywhere near as good as doing them in salon. Finally, and maybe not the one that screams beauty the most, but I'm going to talk about my Suri toothbrush. I don't want to get too close because it is my personal toothbrush. I've had this for a while. I also realised that I really need to buy a new head. This head has seen better days, but this toothbrush is £75, which actually, if you're looking at electric toothbrushes, really isn't very expensive at all. I love this toothbrush. I think this is the best electric toothbrush I've used. It has a 40-day battery life, which for me is incredible, because the one thing that puts me off electric toothbrushes is having to charge them. I just forget, and then I have to just use my electric toothbrush with no battery, which is just not something that I find particularly enjoyable. It also comes with a magnetic holder, which I really like, so I feel like it doesn't get as grubby as a lot of toothbrushes do. Mine's inside my cabinet and it just works really well. The brush itself is also made of aluminium, so not plastic like most electric toothbrushes, which is recyclable, and the heads are recyclable and they have a recycling program for that. One thing I am going to say though is that this looks a bit grim as well. Like the base where it sits to charge, like the bottom of mine just came off, and so the underneath is a bit gross. It kind of looks like it's slightly rusty and maybe got a bit of toothpaste on it, which is a little bit grim, to be completely honest. But overall, I just think this is an excellent toothbrush. It looks really sleek and cool. I think it's a really good price. And one thing I will say though is I would probably not go for the black one, go for a lighter one. Obviously, you're going to get toothpaste on it, and if you live somewhere with hard water like I do, you're probably going to get a bit of lime scale on it as well. I know maybe some of you prefer the black one because it might be more aesthetic. I don't necessarily think so, but I would personally, if I was to get another one, which I might, because I do feel like this part's a bit ugly, and also I would quite like to get a Michael one. It also comes with a UV box, which disinfects the toothbrush, which honestly I probably don't use as much as I should, but it's just not something that I naturally do with my toothbrush. So since I do think it's a good price, and also I really like it, I have few complaints about it, I'm gonna put this one in Holy Grail. It's my only Holy Grail in here. It feels like an essential. Everyone has a toothbrush. You don't necessarily need an at-home LED light, so I guess that's part of the reason why this is going Holy Grail. But if you are after a toothbrush, I just think this is the best one. But that is the end of today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was informative. Do let me know what you'd like to see next, and if you'd like more info on any particular product, I have linked all these products down below. As always, be mindful when purchasing, like, do you really need them? If you are interested just to find out a bit more about them, the links are down below as well. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week Thursday. I actually don't know what I'm filming, so do leave me a comment if you have any requests. Have a lovely week, and I'll see you next Thursday. Bye.